everyone. Welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And what are we talking about this time? Well, the PlayStation 5 Pro. That's right. It's not out yet, but we're talking about it. Sony wants a new PlayStation Pro Enhanced Mode in games. Sony is reportedly asking game developers to take advantage of Sony's alleged PlayStation 5 Pro for increased graphical fidelity. According to The Verge, Sony is reportedly asking game developers to create an exclusive graphics mode in their games for its high-end PlayStation 5 model. It reportedly combines Sony's new PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution PSSR upscaling to 4K resolution with 60 frames per second and ray tracing. Games that offer this mode apparently have the PS5 Pro Enhanced label. However, the label will still be available for some games that have 30 FPS. Reportedly, games that have a fixed resolution on PS5 can still have the label as long as developers increase the target resolution on PS5 Pro, and those with variable resolutions can increase their target maximum resolution. Basically, this means that the games will have a higher maximum resolution on PS5 Pro and a lower one on the base PS5 could qualify for the enhanced label. Reportedly, just enabling ray tracing and opting to not improve the resolution or frame rate is enough to earn the label. However, the label reportedly won't be attached to games that only run at a more stable frame rate on PS5 Pro, as well those with variable resolutions that don't improve the maximum resolution. For example, if a game has a variable resolution of 1080p to 1440p on the base PS5, then a resolution of 1280p to 1440p, then it wouldn't get the label. This is because even though the low end variable resolution is increased, the maximum stayed the same. Developers who want to utilize this mode need to update their games to Sony's SDK, but some games that don't will still have better performance on PlayStation 5 Pro. This is reportedly an Ultra Boost mode that helps out with frame rate and resolutions. However, many unpatched games apparently won't see improvements in this mode, especially ones with fixed resolution graphical settings. So we pretty much know the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming. There's more and more crap out on the internet that points to it being released. And this is just another mid-gen bump. We've seen it before with the Xbox and the PlayStation last gen, with the Scorpio edition and the PlayStation 4 Pro version that came out. So this is just that, right? So it's just going to be able to play those games that already exist at a better, more stable frame rate or possibly higher resolutions. So, those games could have the label that we've seen before in a lot of games that say they're enhanced or made for or whatever, or optimized, right, for XYZ. And then in the graphical modes, you might see like, another one to put into the list of performance, graphics, balanced, PS5 Pro, I don't know, whatever else they're going to freaking put in there in that listing of different modes that you can switch in games nowadays. But that's pretty much it. So this is more of expected, right? I would think. But let's go around and see what everybody thinks. Pat, what do you think of the PS5 Pro Enhanced Mode?
Hey, Sony, I got a secret for you. Xbox already did that. You guys are copying Xbox. And I know PlayStation hates to copy Xbox. I know they hate to do it, but they did enhanced for Xbox One X, and then they did optimized for Series X and S, which was the same exact thing. It was a stamp that said this developer had did this. And Sony, I'm sorry to say that you are being the Apple to Samsung here in this arena. I know they hate to hear that, but sometimes Sony just needs to understand that because something is done right, they should do it too. And it's not a bad thing to follow suit of something done right. I would never blame either one of the companies for following suit of the other one that's doing something right, in my opinion. If Sony would have, if their PlayStation Plus Ultra Ultimate whatever was as good as Game Pass, I would give them props for it. But in my opinion, they 3-tiered junk into junk into junk, so it's not as good. But I think putting on the label is great because it lets gamers know. Now, I don't necessarily think that is a selling point for most gamers, right? When I'm looking for a new game, I don't pay attention to those damn things. I mean, because you can slap that label on freaking a piece of crap and it's still a piece of crap game. So, you know, that is not a selling point for me. It's just a ooh shiny thing for me. It's got that badge of honor that says, "Hey, I survived the Matterhorn," or whatever, I did whatever. That's all that says right there. It's what's the old Tommy Boy skit? You could slap a guarantee on a box and take a dump in it, but it's, it's still just a guaranteed piece of crap. That's all they're doing, right? I mean, so to me, it's just like Nick said. Yeah, no, duh. Adding that label is something good, but at the same time, it's to be expected, and it's a good thing. But it's not a selling point. I don't know if they think that's a selling point. Like, I don't know if Microsoft thought that was a selling point that said, "Hey, this game is optimized for Xbox Series X and S," and then when the Xbox One X came out, it was like enhanced for Xbox One X. I don't think that's a selling point. At least I think most gamers are more intelligent than that. I'm not going to go looking for a game and I'll be like, "Hey, let me sort this library by enhanced for," and put those at the top of my list, because if you are, then you're probably wearing a helmet, So I don't know. I think that you don't buy your own video games at that point. You're just picking something that looks pretty. Like you were when you were a kid, right? When I was a kid, all I did was look at the box and been like, "This looks cool. I want to get this," because I didn't know any better, right? And then, you started getting the old Nintendo Power magazines and things like that. And you're like, "Ooh, this looks like a good game coming up. Oh, that game is bad. Look at that." So a shiny sticker on a box that says enhanced or built for is not going to sway me to buy a game or not, especially if I don't think it looks good. If it looks good, I'm honestly don't care at that point. I'm a graphics snob, so to me, even that doesn't matter. So if somebody like me is not interested in it, I don't think that it's going to be a selling point. It never was on the Xbox for me, even though I think from all the information I've seen about the PS5 Pro, it's supposed to be like have a 45% faster rendering speed for its GPU, 10% more CPU. It's even got more RAM in it. I think I can't remember how much more RAM, but it was like 175 more megs or something like that. Or maybe a little bit more, but maybe not. But I just, it is what it is. But at the same time, do you think that console is going to be $500 when it comes out? So I don't know. I have a hard time thinking it's going to be a $500 console, but we'll see when it comes out. For me, I'm not buying one, right? I have no reason to buy one. I play my PS5 so rarely, and I'll be honest, now, we played a couple of games on it, but it's been so long since I booted the thing up. I was like, is it going to read this disc? So now I booted up to play quite a bit, but I'm playing Helldivers with these guys, and it's the same game over and over. Like, I don't need a PS5 Pro for Helldivers. I'm almost wishing I would have got it on PC now, a lot. So, but that's just me. Shane, what about you, man? Do you think that that basically enhanced mode or PS5 Pro enhanced sticker is going to sell more games to you?
I would be happy if Sony would be able to meet what they put on the PS5 box, 8K, 4K, 120. I ain't seen that stuff yet, so I'm not expecting a whole lot from the PS5 Pro. I'm stupid, so I'll buy it. My wife bought me the PS4 Pro for my birthday. Plugged it in, fired her up, had an update, it bricked. I'm really on the fence about buying another Pro from Sony. Granted, that was probably a 1 in a million thing, but hey, I'm 1 in a million. So, I'm bothered by the fact that they advertise 4K 120 on the box. Most games, first party games on Sony, they don't do 4K 120. They do 30 frames 120. Some do 120 at 1080p. I think Sony is in the wrong ballpark. I think they need to fix the system they have and the games they have to play what's advertised on the box, what's advertised on the commercials. Don't get wrong, Microsoft's in the same damn boat. But that's primarily because they have a little box that's holding them back big time. But I'm a nerd, and I'll probably get it because I like consoles. I mean, I have a million Xboxes in the house. I have PlayStations, but I don't. Just from this article, I really don't see what warrants this purchase yet. I really don't. If I could put in, let's say I could put in God of War, because God of War runs 30. I think it was 30 frames a second at 60, if I remember right. So if I can put that disc in and I can get that 4K 120, just that might entice me, but I just don't see Sony doing that. And yes, Pat, you are right. Even though you didn't say it, they are not charging $500 for no PS5 Pro. I'd say they'll hit 7. I don't think they'll go over 7. Maybe 650, but I don't see them going over 7, or I really don't see them going below 7. But I'm not too confident with a PS5 Pro. PS5 released in 2021. Is that right, guys? I can't remember. Is it 2020 November? So that's been 3 years. So I guess a mid-gen is about time.
Oh, you're right. It was November 2020.
2020, okay. So, we're coming up on 4 years. A full 4 years. So I guess it would be okay to release a mid-gen. I just don't want it to be a checkerboarding 4K upgrade like they did with the PS4 Pro. The series, God, I hate Microsoft naming conventions. The Scorpio edition, the Xbox Ultra X, One X, whatever the Fraggle Rock they called it. That one was a more true next gen bump, or I wouldn't say next gen bump, but a truer bump mid gen, because it did look a lot better. Things loaded muy faster. The three of us all got it, and we were all very happy. I don't think Sony went as far as Microsoft did, and I think they should have. And I think that was one of the reasons the PS4 Pro didn't sell near as well. God, these naming conventions are killing me. The PS4 Pro didn't sell as well as I think they expect. I think it still did okay, but I don't think it did as well as they expected. As a non-tech person, I am only looking at this as the gaming aspect. So if they could do what I was saying a minute ago, I pop God of War in and it gives me 4K 120, without a bunch of bumps and dips and all that, I will definitely consider it. But right now, from what was just read, I don't see a reason for it yet. So that's just me.
I mean, if you're getting a 45% faster rendering, that can mean 4K at 60 frames per second or higher, as well as, like I said, like a 10% CPU improvement. I think it's going up to like a 3.85, and that's a 10% frequency improvement, not like anything, not like more cores or anything like that. So they're increasing the frequency to like 3.85 versus 3.5, and then 10% more memory. So you're adding more specs to it, but at the same time, can you get those specs in for the $500 price tag? Probably not.
Yeah. Well, I still don't see them doing 500, because as soon as they slap the word Pro on it, they're going to drop another hundo on it, I think, minimum.
Well, the PS4 Pro was more than the PS4 when it came out, right? Like, I didn't buy it, so I don't know. I can't speak to it.
All I did was return it and bought a pack of cigarettes. I don't remember what the hell I did with it. I just knew mine bricked, and we took it back to the store, and I think I got Rock Band or some shit. I don't know. The so let me ask you, and you guys are tech. I am not. So I have the PS5 Pro. I put my God of War disc in. Does there have to be an update or anything that allows the disc to push 4K 120?
Well, yeah, they got to unlock the frame rates because the frame rates are locked to 30.
So can they do that just as a program in the PS5 or something to just unlock?
It would just be a patch for the game.
Okay.
It would be a patch
So
for the
you would
game,
have
not
to
the
do
system
one
there.
for each individual game. So I don't see Sony going. I see Sony going back and unlocking
Yes.
frame rates for
a
God of
fee.
War or exactly where I was going. I don't see them doing it for free. You're up. That's exactly where I was going, Pat. So,
well, I mean, that's true because because they did that whole thing with the PS4 to PS5. They were like, hey, no more free PS4 to PS5 enhancements. They were like, no more, and they started charging for that. If you wanted the PS5 version of the game, right? And Xbox was the same way, right? I mean, they started out giving them for free, and now I think if you want the Xbox Series X or S optimized version, you were like paying for it at one point. So it's not like either one of them were giving it away, but I think Microsoft gave it away for free for a long time. But I don't think they do that anymore. I know Sony quit. Sony had basically had a hard line. I can't remember what game it was, but they were like, this is it, guys. No more. End of story.
Yep.
Anything that's going to get a PS5 enhanced for PS5 is going to be a fee, to buy the PS5 version or to get the upgrade, to get your game upgrade. Basically, we're going to inject the code into the game that makes it work.
Yeah, and I think Microsoft did it in all their first party games, all the Microsoft Studio games. They did it regardless. And then I think it was mostly third party. They were good with it at first, and then they went, maybe I could milk a few bucks. EA was like, I got to get me some of that money. So, but what about you, Nick? I mean, you buy every damn game a minimum of 3 times. What about consoles? Are you going to consider buying a PS5 Pro? And can you buy me one?
Maybe. So I looked it up. I looked at the Googles. I searched the internets, and the PS4 and the PS4 Pro were the same price when they released. They were $400. Now the PS4 Pro wasn't as big of an upgrade as the Xbox Series X was, as far as so that really is where it comes for me on the PS5 Pro. Like, is it similar to what they did with the PS4 Pro, or is it more in line with what they did with the Xbox One X, right? As far as upgrading goes, as far as specs go comparatively, right? And that'll make the decision for me. The reason why I didn't get a PS4 Pro, even though I wanted one, the reason why I didn't get one is because there wasn't a huge leap as there was from the Xbox One to the Xbox One X. So I didn't feel like there was a need to buy a Pro, right? It was barely a bump up from what it was already at the PS4 Pro. But if they go the route of the Xbox One X with this, or somewhere close to it, then yeah, I would look more into that. According to rumors, now we don't know the price, but according to rumors on the internets that I've read, is that it's expected to release at $500, according to the internets. And the internets doesn't lie, but
is the Slim right now? It's $500, is it not?
It's the same price. It's not any different.
So then I think they'll drop the price. I think they'll drop the price on PS5, $100, and then release the PS5 Pro. I don't see them having both SKUs out there at the same price. I think they'll drop. Did they drop PS4 price at the release? Before the release of the Pro. Because I know
I don't know. I mean, that would make more sense, or they stop producing PS4s,
production,
right?
Yeah,
and then just whatever's out there sells, and then they just make Pros. Right. I don't know if they did that with the PS4.
I can't remember.
Now they might end up doing that with the PS5, possibly. But yeah, that would make more sense because you wouldn't want to keep them the same price because then people would just buy a Pro because there wouldn't be any point in buying the regular one for the same price. So you either drop the price of the regular one down $100 or you raise the price of the new one to like $600 and keep the other one $500. I don't know.
I could buy a Lamborghini or a Kia for the same price.
Yeah, it sounds like a couple of articles here I was reading through. It looked like that it was $400, and then when the PS4 Pro dropped, they dropped the price to $270, but also released a 1 terabyte version, and that one was $300 of the regular PS4. So they did drop it considerably when the Pro came out. To probably, like you said, Nick, to get rid of that older stock, and then they could just pump out only PS5s at that time. Or not PS5s, but the Pro, I mean, PS4 Pro.
Yeah. Which they might end up doing with this one as well.
Yeah.
Right. So,
which would be nice. It'll get people that have been waiting for a PS5 to get one, which is just going to help their sales numbers. If they drop a PS4 down to $270, $300, they're probably going to get a pretty good bump in console owner counts. And then that would then just leave Microsoft. I know we've heard a lot of rumors about the Microsoft one, and Phil Spencer was like, "Oh, we don't have plans for mid-gen." And then this whole like Apple thing came about, and other things, and lawsuits, and the whole FTC lawsuit against Microsoft for their acquisition of Activision. So, and we've heard then we saw that there was a mid-gen, and then Phil Spencer's still saying no. It kind of makes me wonder what's going on with them and what they're doing. But it sounds like there is going to be a decent sized jump in the PS5 Pro in the with their what they call in the PSSR, the PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. So there is no details I saw leaked about the GPU outside of this Spectral thing, because it sounds like everything that I saw was being focused more around the CPU and the memory on as far as what specs were coming out for that. And those are, in my opinion, marginal increases, 10% increase here. 25% increase on CPU cycles is a pretty good thing, because that's, multi-core CPU, get additional cycles per, the hertz per cycle. So, I don't necessarily know. For me, those two specs alone are not a reason to upgrade for me. I don't play my PlayStation enough to warrant having to spend another $500. But, it could be, it just depends, right? If they come out like Shane says, and these games are now up, they basically can handle 4K at 120 frames per second or whatever, I'll be like, let me give it a try. But I don't think it's going to be that big of a jump. I don't think we're there yet. We're not talking about PC specs here for high-end PCs where you're spending $1,000 minimum on a PC to get this 4K or 8K graphics, So I don't know. Yeah. Time will tell when it comes out. And because I think everybody is still like talking about like holiday season this year too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we're thinking.
By the end of the year. So we'll see. I mean, we're what, 4 months into the year, so we got 8 months left. And if they want to ramp up sales for the holiday, they probably would be announcing sometime in July or August of the release date. So.
Well, June has
around E3, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess Summer Game Fest.
What would be E3? Yeah, Summer Game Fest.
E3.
Now.
Oh God, too soon.
Too soon.
It's been dead for years.
Yeah.
At this point.
But yeah, I think everybody does their summer showcases and tree houses and whatever, Fraggle Rock they call the rest of it. So I think if we do see anything, it has to happen in June, or possibly, I think is the Japanese game show, is that August, or is that in July?
I think Tokyo Game Show is in August. Either that or it's Gamescom that's in August. I can't remember which one.
I can't keep track. I think Gamescom is before TGS. So, but either way, I think they're gonna have to do some sort of announcement August prior. I don't think it's as major of a deal not to push a mid-gen bump before that, but they don't want to wait too long either. So I think it's just going to be a PlayStation 2 duct tape to the PS5.
Microsoft needs to have a mid-gen bump so they can officially kill off the Series S.
Oh my God, they got to dump that turd soon. Wipe and flush. That's what you got to do, Microsoft.
Wipe and flush. On that note, you guys have anything else that you want to add to this? All right. Well, let us know down in the comments below. Are you going to pick up a PS5 Pro when it comes out? Like I said, it just depends. For me personally, it just depends. Depends on what the leap in technology from what we have now to what the PS5 Pro can do, right? If it's substantial, then yeah, I'll probably get one. If it's not, if it's more like the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, then probably not, right? And then that's the only reason why I didn't buy the PS4 Pros, because I just didn't feel like the graphical leap or the leap between a PS4 and a PS4 Pro was that substantial, right? So it has to be substantial in order for me to go out there and want to buy one. But we'll have to wait and see. Sony hasn't come out and said it, but there's been lots of rumblings online, and we are expecting it this year, but we don't know that. Nobody knows concretely yet. But let us know down in the comments below. Are you going to pick up a PS5 Pro if one does release, and how much do you think it will release at? They're saying online that it's going to be $500, and that would be in line with what the PS4 Pro did, but I don't know. You let us know down in the comments what you think. Other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time, and we will see you next time.
See ya.